Welcome back. You're still tuned in to News and Views with myself, Salalo Makwidi. The time is 8:36 Central African Time, and it's time for our hashtag Africa Focus feature. This is a part of the show where we focus on some of the biggest stories on the African continent. And this time around, we'll be shifting our focus to Central Africa, specifically the Democratic Republic of Congo, where there's a major shakeup in their politics there. Vital Kamerhe, a long and central figure in Congolese politics, has stepped down as president of the National Assembly. This amid mounting pressure and a petition by over 260 deputies calling for his removal. The official reasons, well, allegations of opaque financial practices, questions about the internal function of the assembly, and claims that the legislative body needs renewed leadership. Kamerhe, however, frames his resignation as a sacrificial move to help refocus the nation on unity and sovereignty and economic progress. And to help us what really lies beneath this resignation, the political alliances, and just legal questions and the implications of Congo's stability. We'll be heading to Kinshasa now to chat with a good friend of the show, Didier Kabwe of the Congolese Solidarity Campaign, to get a bit more insight on that. Didier, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate you giving us your time this morning, and looking forward to get a bit more insight on this political shakeup out of the DRC.
Good morning, Selaelo, and good morning to your viewers.
I think we can kickstart the conversation with a bit of background for our listeners who might not be quite familiar with Vital Kamerhe. If you can just give us a bit of background, who is he, his role in, Congolese politics, and ultimately where we currently find ourselves, where he's resigned. He's no longer there.
Thank you. Vital Kamerhe is a prominent political actor in political environment in DRC, and he has been in this political environment since the time of Laurent Kabila, the late President Laurent Kabila, around 1996-97, and he was involved in many situations where the country was in a conflict, and they played a crucial role as a political actor. So he's not new in a political environment in DRC.
Where we currently find ourselves, I think it's a very, very interesting point, and I want us to touch a bit on that. His resignation. What does it signal? What does it tell us? The fact that you have 262 deputies saying we're gonna write down a petition, and this guy must step down. What were the triggers, that ultimately forced his resignation?
Yes, we need to recall that it is not the first time that this situation comes to Vital Kamerhe. It is the second time. During the time of Joseph Kabila, he was the president of parliament, and he resigned. And this is, as I was saying, this is the second time, but the contexts are different. It is difficult to know exactly the reason why the resignation comes now, but we need to understand that we can have, in terms of management reasons in parliament, and we have also political reasons. As you said, more than 200 parliamentaries sign is that petition, and it is a signal of political situation that is happening in the DRC. So maybe we can try to explore the political reasons, probably also the in terms of management in parliament itself.
Before we get there, I wanted to touch briefly on the political alliances here. Kamerhe himself has historically been a strong political actor. How much of this crisis, if I can put it that way, reflects a rift between himself, and the union for the Congolese nation and President Tshisekedi's ruling party, also UDPS. Can we say he's being squeezed out? Was there no space for negotiation to keep him within the circle?
For us to understand that, let's go a little bit. Remember, he was a key actor in helping the current president to strengthen his power. He was the director of his cabinet before he moved. Before that, and remember, he went also to prison. It is after the time he spent in prison that he was again the minister of economy before he becomes the president of parliament. So he's a key allied of UDPS, as you say, and also this coalition of ruling parties called what is that? What they call Union Sacrée de la Nation, which is alliance of parties that are supporting President President Felix Tshisekedi. So there is something that is happening. The majority of members in parliament are from UDPS, and we know that between UNC, the political party of Vital Kamerhe, and UDPS, there is always tensions. So maybe, according to other views, it is UDPS that starts this campaign of petition to remove Vital Kamerhe as a president of parliament. So we can see otherwise that there is a political reason why he end out his resignation.
Could this petition, as I mentioned, that was signed by more than 200 people in Parliament, be linked in any way to? I'm not sure when it was exactly, but he was Kamerhe, this says, was convicted in the past for embezzlement, and then he was later on acquitted on appeal. Does maybe this history still weigh on public perception of him, and him ultimately being sacked partly be because of some of these past controversies catching up to him, or it's just something entirely new and outside and divorced from his previous run-ins with the law?
Politically, there is a views that some parliament are accusing him of being is linked with, he has links with rebellions in Eastern DRC. The reason why they are trying to force that argument is the fact that there was always, remember the time that rebellions took Goma and Bukavu, there was declarations, institutions were making declarations to condemn what is happening, Rwanda-backed rebellions. So Parliament, the president of Parliament is the one that is accused of not even saying anything, which is not, on my view, is not true. Saying that is not making any declaration to condemn what is happening in DRC. So we have those rumors that accelerating this political tension, and they are accusing him of somehow betraying that alliance in power uh, that benefit rebels. So there
Mm.
are political accusations which are not verified, but can be also a motivation to his resignation.
Mm. It's interesting that you're touching on the conflict because I think this was going to be my last question to you. The
Yes.
fact that given Eastern Congo's ongoing conflict, we all know the situation with the M23 rebels and the likes, and also just the pressure that the government is currently under. How does this kind of political shakeup almost influence views on the stability of the DRC? And could this almost weaken or strengthen Tshisekedi domestically and internationally? How do you think this will be viewed given the context of the instability in the eastern part of the country and that the ongoing violence there?
One of the views that was vehiculated by those who are against the power ruling party, they were saying there is a tension between Swahili speaking zone and Lingala speaking zone. As you know, these are the most languages that are spoken in DRC. And Vital Kamerhe is part of Swahili speaking zone.
Mm,
So this is not going really to strengthen unity to the fact that these rumors of Swahili-speaking zone being threatened in Kinshasa, or which for me is not true, but somehow it's going um, to to cause again this tension between between these two zones in terms of unity. So the resignation of Kamerhe, we have to say that since he is a prominent political actor, somehow it's going to cause tension between these two zones.
very, very concerning. Didier, unfortunately, we have run out of time. Again, thank you so much for always availing yourself to us and giving us the latest out of the DRC. Hope you have a lovely time in Kinshasa and hope we chat again soon.
Thank you, Silailo, and thank you to your viewers.
There you go. That was our hashtag Africa Focus feature this time around, zoning in into the DRC, Democratic Republic of Congo, in the region of the continent, which is very, very volatile. And I think as South Africans, we have a keen interest too. And yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how Kamerhe's resignation, which was brought about by a petition that was signed by more than 200 members of, the parliament in the DRC, ultimately led to where we find ourselves. It's going to be interesting to see if it will do any kind of or have any kind of effect, given the context of the war in the DRC and the instability of the country. I think you heard there from Didier that already there seems to be, tribalistic lines that have been drawn. And one of the reasons that is cited is because, well, you know, um, one person, which is from one tribe, Kamerhe, has been sacked by a majority from another tribe, and already the country in itself is very, very unstable. So, yeah, we'll be keeping a close eye on the DRC, and we're going to close this edition of our Africa Focus feature. Going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with you after this.